Dwarven lamplighter, fiber optics. So I got their starter kit to see what that was like. And in it, come on, stay back over there. We have some 1 mm, I think it's 1 mm fiber optic cable. And then a power supply. And this device, which supplies light. You put the fiber optics in that hole there. I guess you could stuff it as full as you can. And power supply goes there, and it turns on, and there's a light inside, and the light follows this fiber optic, this plastic cable or filament, and puts lighting wherever you want it. And I'm anxious to try it out. I'm gonna use it down in this area to light up these buildings. The new locomotive is a 462 Prairie, and it's undecorated. I intend to decorate it very similar to the way the Mikado is decorated. The CB&Q did run some Prairie locomotives, but they switched over to the Mikados because they were more powerful. But I like the Prairie design. They're fast, and I wanted one for the layout, so I'm going to have one, whether it goes with the CB&Q, my era, or whatever. I'm going to have one anyway. There are some new things on the layout that I want to show you. Oh, one other thing I might as well share. I had to rip out this, and this is all going to have to be rebuilt because I didn't leave quite enough headroom to get a train through. As you can see, there's a train sitting on the reversing loop now, and they both work. Both reversing loops work. I've just run this train in there. It's also a good parking place. I don't know if the engineer would like sitting in a tunnel. Probably asphyxiated by now. But yeah, it's a good storage spot, and I don't have enough sidings. That was one thing if I'd have been thinking, I was more interested in operational, having options for operations. So I've got a siding down there at what someday will be the milling, Western milling. And there's a siding here for freight at the across the road from the station. And of course there's a siding here for the Gibson plant, tractor plant. I did acquire a new tractor, a yellow one, and yellow is the color of Gibson. So, and there's another siding here at the cannery, and I have some utilitarian sidings down here, complete with a runaround so that I can pull a train in and then back around it and get back out. Well, no doubt my reputation, what reputation, is going to suffer as a result of this reveal. We'll call it a reveal. Last Wednesday, I was running trains in the morning, and I was working on the layout, and everything was fine. The afternoon, I decided I would do a little filming or videoing for this video right here. And I put a train on the track and I had a short. Well, I looked around, I couldn't see anything, and I haven't had a short on this layout since the beginning. What the heck, you know? Very puzzling. So I took that train off. I think, well, you know, maybe something's wrong with a wheel somewhere or whatever. Nope, still had a short. So then I took all the trains off everywhere. Still had a short on an empty track. Well, I looked at everything I could think of, gaps and no gaps and all that, wires and tools on the track, all the regular stuff. Well, by Thursday, I was getting a little desperate. So Thursday in the morning, I started disconnecting dropper wires from that go from the track down to the main DCC harness. Well, it doesn't go in a circle. It just goes around and stops, so it's not connected into a loop. Suffice it to say that I started disconnecting every dropper. I disconnect it, check it, still the short was there, so I put it back together again. Go to the next one, take it apart. But I was only disconnecting wires from the track to the harness, the main DCC harness. I spent the afternoon doing that, still had a short. It started to drive me crazy. Friday I worked on it in the morning, but in the afternoon I was very frustrated and very upset that, you know, it was messed up. What in the heck, you know, how could this happen? You know, why all of a sudden out of the blue do I have a problem? You know, and I checked everything I had just done. I'd worked backwards on the timeline from that moment that I had the problem and looked at everything I had done as far as wiring and whatnot. Looked over everything underneath the boards. I looked over all the track on the top of the boards, looked for anything. Couldn't find it. Friday afternoon, I was fed up. No, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm sick of it. I'm going to junk this layout and I'll build a new one that won't have this problem. Well, over the weekend, I even spent 3 or 4 hours, or I don't know, maybe longer, working on a new track plan, or an improved one from this one. Although it was going to be pretty much the same, it was just going to be a foot longer. I was going to add a foot. I don't know how that would work out, and I'm already pretty tight in here, as you know. It'd be all right if it was out of this room. I may tear down this 00 thing too. I think when the in scale is pretty well developed, I think the 00's coming down, and probably not till next spring sometime. I've got several trains on order, including a 1938 S-stock train, London Underground train, 4 cars. It's a Bachmann model, and I've been waiting for over 6 months now. I ordered it before December last year in 2020. But I'm telling on myself that I had this problem. I finally found it. It's a bad turnout. Well, it's a turnout I don't use very often, so that's probably why I never found it before. It's the turnout that goes into the little siding for the Longmont station. It's the freight depot for the Longmont station. It's across Main Street from the station itself. And I don't think I've ever used that electrically. I don't think I've ever run a locomotive up into it. Probably should have. Looking back on it now, probably should have tested it, but it's a very short siding. I never really worried about it. I either inadvertently switched the turnout to the siding or intentionally. I don't remember which now. It's a little starting to get a little hazy. But anyway, that turnout was switched. There's something wrong with that siding or the switch, the turnout itself. I don't know which. It's a tough one. I'd like to replace it just to make sure that the problem goes away, but it is, the tail end of it is halfway across my road crossing, which means I've got to rip out plaster, and it's a great big mess, and I really don't feel like doing it. So I can avoid using that turnout and avoid using that siding. In the future, every layout I build is going to have isolation sections so that I can disconnect sections one at a time until I find the DCC fault, and at least narrow it down to a very small location. I have seen some pretty clever systems where they used a 12 volt auto light bulb and put it in line with a section of DCC track so that if there's a short, it pulls enough current to light the light bulb. But in the meantime, if there's no short, then the light bulb just conducts electricity. The filament just conducts electricity, which I thought was very clever, because then if you have a short in a given section, you still have to divide it up into smaller sections. So, you could either use this light bulb concept, or you could use a switch and just discover which one is bad by switching out one at a time the various sections. So anyway, I'm undecided on that, and time will tell what happens. Anyway, stay tuned and see what adventures that Rob McCrane comes up with on his crazy trains. Well, the trains aren't crazy. It's Rob that's crazy. I'm crazy about trains. What can I say? Anyway, have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Subscribe, please, if you're not subscribed already, and click the like button, would you? Give me a thumbs up. Make me feel good. Bye for now.